Boop. And boop.
Alright, we're live.
Woo!
Video is unavailable. What the fuck?
What?
Says the video is unavailable.
Refresh?
Refresh. That is much better. Immediately, we got ourselves an incoming ad break.
Eh.
In 45 seconds.
Oh, good. Wonderful. Fantastic. Where's my guide?
Where is your
I
guide?
found it. Don't worry, I found it. Hello. Just gonna... there we go. Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we truly ready for things that are about to happen? Because we're very close to Edo's side of the story. Do not fall, phone case. I swear. Alright, time to continue. Boop. With the new year just around the corner, the Satsuma Choshu Alliance formed an army and marched on the capital. In response, the Shinsengumi moved to the Fushimi Magistrate's office and began to prepare for war. Boop.
Hey guys! Bad news! The chief's been attacked!
Oh no, Dad! There had been no witnesses.
He was attacked. I didn't say he was dead.
There had been no witnesses, and the culprit had escaped unseen.
Oh, look, there's Twitch. Or Discord, I mean.
Their motives could only be guessed at.
Whoosh. We still haven't figured out who attacked the chief. I'll bet you anything it's those bastards from the Satsuma Chosu Alliance.
Ever since the attack on Kondo-san, the atmosphere at the Fushimi Magistrate's office had been tense, to say the least. I felt an increase as I stepped into the meeting room, carrying tea for the captains. Here's your tea.
Oh, thanks. Could you just leave it here?
I seemed to have walked in on a very serious discussion. All around the room were tense, drawn faces. Blech.
So, what's your plan? The Satsuma Chosu Alliance wants power in the court, but they're also looking to have the Emperor grant them all of the Shogunate's assets and holdings. There's no other way to look at it. They're trying to start a war. We'd be smart in preparing for one. You have a point. They've been sucking up to the Emperor, and they come and go at the palace like they own the place. Wasn't it just the other day that they were declared enemies of the court and not even allowed into Kyo? Now, so far as preparing for war.
Ichikata-san's eyes darted from man to man across the room, looking for someone to speak up.
Sonnen has been pushing hard to augment the Fury Corps. I'm against that This is war, not subduing the odd Ronin. There's going to be enemies and allies everywhere in battle. I don't think we'll be able to control them. They are powerful, but it's also too risky. Agreed. Agreed. Besides, it's inhumane. Then what do you suggest? If you wish to disapprove, you should offer an alternative path. We're working on that. If it was so easy to come up with a solution, do you think we'd really be in this mess?
He shot Saito-san a glare.
What's your take on this, Commander?
Hijikata-san furrowed his brow and frowned.
Let me think about it. We need to see what the Satsuma and Chosu are going to do. And we have to consider what the shogunate wants.
Kondo-san's injury had put everyone on edge, even without a war inching closer day by day. I wonder how Heisuke and Sanan-san felt about what was coming, now that they were Furies. The Fury Corps was only active after I went to sleep, so I never got to see them. When I couldn't fall asleep that night, I decided to go visit Okita-san, who was still trying to recover from his illness. Good evening, Okita-san. How are you feeling? I arrived to find that Heisuke had also come to visit Okita-san to pass the time.
Oh, hey, Chizuru. What you doing up so late? People might get the wrong idea if they see a girl visiting a man's room in the middle of the night.
Oh, Heisuke. You're smarter than that. You know Okita-san and I aren't... you know.
Yeah, I guess you do have a point. It's not really your sort of thing, is it?
Heisuke.
What
Hey, what do you mean?
do you mean? What do you mean? Come on!
That face every time. He chuckled and told Okita-san what seemed to have been intended as a knowing grin, but the older man was far too annoyed to notice. Uh-oh. We have a moody Soji.
Oh no. So, why are you here? I assume you've got a reason for visiting me in the middle of the night?
Oh, His tone stole away some of my determination, but I pushed ahead anyway. Do you guys know that, Sanan-san wants to augment the Fury Corps? As soon as the words were out of my mouth, Heisuke's face clouded over.
Yeah, of course.
Okita-san was a little more forthcoming.
Well, if you were in San's position, wouldn't you do the same thing? If I wasn't like this, I'd pick up my sword right now and go get revenge for Kondo-san.
Oh, we know. Okita-san's bed rest was clearly rankling him? Rankling him. After all, he'd known Kondo-san for a long time, since they met in Edo, long before the beginning of the Shinsengumi. What do you think, Heisuke?
Let's see, the common event or fact cause annoyance or resentment that persists, or it's also another way to say fester.
Oh.
Well, I think I did decide to drink the water of life, but I'm not gonna lie, I was worried about what would happen to me. Sanan-san says we should have more men in the Fury Corps. He says we'll never win otherwise.
Oh. He was so unlike the Heisuke I remembered. So stern and cold that I couldn't help but feel sad as well.
Oh no. Well, no matter what Sana-san says, at the end of the day, it's gonna be Hijikata-san who makes the call. You're right, but the Fury Core already exists. We can't pretend that it doesn't. Then maybe Sana-san's right, and we should use the Fury Core how we see fit. At least they can still wield swords.
Ow. His last words were cold, hateful, and filled with self-derision. Yeah. Perhaps we could use the Furies as a weapon. They might help us to win the coming war. Their strength would be an undeniable military asset.
But could they be controlled?
But once the war was over, what would become of them? Trying to find a cure. I was afraid to ask that question because I feared I already knew the answer. Whoosh.
Whoosh.
The next day, an unexpected visitor arrived. I know who it is. Oh! I don't remember Sen's voice. Help me.
It was almost like her SSL voice, but not as Valley Girlish.
Hello, Chizuru-chan. It's been far too long.
I think that was it.
Sen? Kimigiku? Why are you here? We've business with the chief. Can you go get him for us? Oh, Kondo-san isn't in good enough shape to speak to anyone. Perhaps Hijikata-san? Then Hijikata-san will serve admirably. Alright, please come inside.
Huh. We don't usually allow visitors in here. What do you want?
My apologies for intruding, but it was imperative that I speak with you today.
Regarding?
I'll go make some tea. No. No, thank you. No, thank you, but that's not necessary. I shall take my leave as soon as I am finished. And in fact, I would prefer you stay. You may wish to hear this as well. Okay. What did she have to say that was so important, and that might be something I should hear? I sat down in a corner and did my best to pay attention. Why did you put yourself in the corner?
I'll put it in the corner. Oh no.
I've come to discuss your furies.
What about them?
When he heard the word furies, I saw his face twitch.
I feel like that's what he would have said.
Mm-hmm. I will get straight to the point. How much longer will you employ them?
What do you mean?
You've kept them enslaved for quite some time. I believe you know exactly what I mean. The Furies are a failed experiment. Even the Shogunate has admitted to that. They are too much for your organization to deal with. With demons on your trail, you would do well to wash your hands of Furies. Hijikata-san's frown deepened.
Isn't it up to us to decide whether they're a failure or not? We've done our own research on the water of life. I don't think it's your place to judge us, ma'am.
He narrowed his eyes at Sen, and they glittered like spear points, but she seemed unconcerned.
Oh.
It was Kimigiku who spoke up. Then are you aware that the Shinsengumi's Furies have been murdering people on the street to test their strength?
What?
Correct guess! For a split second, his cold mask dropped, and I saw genuine confusion and dismay on his face. Then it was gone. and he was cold and composed once again.
Where did you hear that?
I've no reason to tell you, but rest assured that it was from a reliable source. You have not been able to keep the water of life from driving your men mad. Your job is to protect the safety of the capital, correct? And yet your men roam the streets, killing innocent civilians. It disgusts me. It disgusts me. Before this becomes more common knowledge, I strongly suggest you disband the Fury Corps. Kimigiko's logic was sound. Hijikata-san had no counter-argument. Everyone in the room had fell silent. But was it true? Were the Furies indeed cutting people down in the street for the thrill of killing? If the Fury Corps was disbanded, then Sana-san and Heisuke would...
Oh, no.
Every one of us waited for Hijikata-san's answer with bated breaths. My heart roared in my ears.
Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum.
I suppose we can table this for the moment. There is something else I must discuss. With this, she turned and looked at me. Chizuru-chan, will you please leave with us? What? Hadn't we already covered this the last time she came to visit? I know we spoke before, but the situation has changed. You do understand that, don't you? Soon war will break out in Kyo. If you are going to escape, this is your chance. I knew war was coming, but to hear the truth presented so baldly. I wouldn't say badly. Why baldly?
I don't know.
It was jarring. I don't believe the Shinsengumi will be able to protect you once the war begins. Please, come with us.
Wait a minute. Are you suggesting we can't handle it?
The truth is sometimes hard to accept. If Kazuma returns, can you protect her from him? What if he comes to call while you're locked in battle elsewhere against the Satsuma and Choshu? Will you be able to protect her then? Hijikata-san scowled but said nothing. And in any event, she is a demon, not a human. She should be with her own kind. We can protect her. She turned from Hijikata-san to face me once again. You see? You should come with us. If you leave, then we can concentrate wholly, that they can concentrate wholly on the battles to come. Her words hit like blows, but she spoke the truth. War would soon break out, and perhaps remaining with the Shinsengumi would be dangerous for me and for them. I would be useless in war. I wasn't a soldier. Even so, I wanted to stay. I looked over at Hijikata-san, hoping he might give me an answer. He only furrowed his brow and looked the other way, saying nothing. What was I to do?
Isn't it the same answer?
It looks like that.
I think it's I should leave.
I should leave.
I should leave, but...
I was sure Sin was right, and I should leave, but... the words just couldn't come out. In truth, I didn't want to leave. I hoped that maybe someday all of the madness and war would end, and then I could be a human being, not a demon.
SSL.
SSL. That's Chizuru's wish. SSL.
Hey.
Throwing theories out into the ether and see what happens. What do you say? You really ought to leave. You'll be much safer with us. Her voice was kind, and I knew she had only my best interests at heart, but I still couldn't bring myself to respond. Hijikata-san, of course, saw straight through me.
You don't want to leave, do you?
Huh?
Then stay. What's there to think about?
But is that really okay? If Kazuma came after me again...
I'm not going to repeat myself. Or are you suggesting the Shinsengumi can't handle this?
No! No, of course not. It's just, if I stay here, and I cause trouble for you guys, then...
Well, what proof do you have that you two can keep a secret any better than we can? Even if he wasn't after you, that bastard be an enemy of ours. If we've got the same enemies, then it makes sense to me that we'd stick together.
He was as gruff as ever, but it wasn't hard to understand what he was trying to say. So, I can stay?
What the hell kind of question is that? If you were as much of a pain in the ass as you seem to think, I would have kicked you out long ago.
Relief flooded out across my body. Thank you so much!
Take a drink!
It's happened.
It's already happened. Not even half an hour in.
Oh my god, you're right! With war set to break out at any time, the Shinsengumi was changing. I didn't know how useful I could be to them once battle was joined. But even so, Hijikata-san had told me it was okay to stay. So you've turned me down again then, haven't you? Sen looked at me with a slightly sad smile as I walked her and Kimigiku out of the meeting room. I'm sorry. It was very nice of you to offer, though. Oh, it's all right. If you're so determined to stay, then what could I have ever hoped to do? There was one other tiny little thing I wanted to ask you. When you told me before that you were, interested in someone, did you perchance mean Hijikata-san? What? I wasn't quite sure how to answer that question. Well, to be honest, I don't really know Hijikata-san that well, but... I stumbled over my words, not quite sure how to explain to her how I felt. Perhaps because I wasn't quite sure myself. The men call him the demon because he's so strict and harsh with the soldiers. A lot of people think that he doesn't care about anyone, and that he's cold. But I think he has a kind heart in there. He has a lot of responsibilities, and the whole Shinsengumi rides on his back. I don't think he has any choice but to act like that. I don't know what I can do for him, but I want to stay here and do whatever I can. Sen had been nodding encouragingly and making little hmms of agreement, but now she suddenly burst out laughing. Well, I dare say he has captured you quite thoroughly. What? They say that my ancestor, Suzuka Gozen, fell in love with a human by the name of... Oh god, it's red, I can't really read it.
There we go.
Tamura Maro Saka Noe, Bebe. A shogun during the Heian period. He defeated Suzuka Gozen, a female demon who lived in the Suzuka Mountain and conquered the Tohoku region. Wait. So she fell in love with the shogun, but was also defeated by the shogun. Alright. That's one love story, I suppose.
Yeah.
And followed him to the capital. I'm not saying that name again. I am, in fact, their granddaughter. So I suppose I know something of how you feel. So, Sen is part of the Tokugawa? Technically?
Yeah.
But also has connections to the Imperialists.
Yes.
Oh god. Circumstance and rank mean little before the power of love. And this is
Just
why.
had Huey Lewis in the news.
Eh?
Because Huey Lewis in the news had a song called "The Power of Love."
Power of Love is also a song from Sailor Moon from the original dub.
Oh yeah.
I still like that song. There's something about it. I don't know why. Wait. What? Wait. What? Love? I didn't. I never meant. She only rested her hand on my shoulder and continued. You may be two different creatures, human and demon, but do not think that means your love is doomed to failure. Best of luck to you, Chizuru-chan. I shall be cheering for you. My lady, we should go. Oh, yes, you're right. Then I must take my leave, dear Chizuru. Do take care. You mustn't underestimate Kazuma. He is terribly powerful.
And he's a bitch. We got this.
Alright, thank you. Goodbye. Take a drink.
I kept drink.
Yeah. In mere moments, they were gone. Circumstance and rank mean little before the power of love. But was this thing I felt, the desire to be close to Hijikata-san, was that really love? I just wanted to be around him and help him. Besides, the most important thing to Hijikata-san was the Shinsengumi. He built it up from nothing and put everything he was into it. With war against Satsuma Choshu brewing, he hadn't the time to think of anything else. That being the case, as someone under the care of the Shinsengumi, I needed to think of how I could best put my own skills to use. Whoosh! To the same scene. Okay, I'm kidding. Just before the beginning of the new year, Okita-san's condition worsened. It was determined that he had contracted pulmonary tuberculosis. Pulmonary.
Dun, dun.
Duh! I still say you should do Okita's first. In any case. Because of this.
Fuck you, Okita.
It was not
What?
It was not an uncommon disease, but it was incurable. At the time. I suspect that he might be seriously ill when he began to lose his strength, but I never guessed that tuberculosis was the case. The entire Shinsengumi was shocked and saddened by the news. Kyo was still on high alert. The Shinsengumi remained on standby at the Fushimi Magistrate's office throughout the year-end celebrations. My hope that tempers would calm down and the threat of war would fade lasted until 3 days after the new year. A dispute arose between the Satsuma domain and a group of shogunate troops attempting to enter Kyo. Violence broke out and suddenly war was upon us. The shogunate army in Kyo numbered roughly 15,000 men, while the Satsuma Choshu alliance commanded only 5,000. I am going to shorten this Satsuma Choshu alliance to Sacho. Because that's how they said it. That's like the longest thing you could ever say. So just say Sacho. Victory for the shogun should have been a foregone conclusion. The Sacho, however, had bet their very livelihoods on this war, and determination and morale were high. Perhaps more importantly, the Satsuma had faced the British in battle, and the Choshu had faced the British, French, and Dutch. Both domains had learned modern Western tactics. Armed with only swords against the Sacho's rifles, the Shinsengumi were at a tremendous disadvantage. During the war, the Fushimi Magistrate's office was set on fire, and his Shinsenigumi had no choice but to retreat from Kyo. Ah! So the whole thing isn't a scene, okay. That's different. I like that they added it.
Are you alright? Perhaps you should rest.
No, I'm fine. We can't afford to stop. I'll be alright. I wiped the sweat from my brow, took a deep breath, and forced my throbbing feet to move. We were on our way to Yodo Castle under orders from Hichikata-san. The Shinsenigumi was doing poorly, so we'd been dispatched to bring reinforcements. Yodo Castle, a castle in the Yodo domain. It is built at the confluence of the Kizu, Katsura, and Uji rivers. Confluence?
It's where they converge.
Ah. Okay. Do you really think the people at Yodo Castle will help us out?
They have to. We need the help. And so does Hichikata-san. He can't lose. I never want to see him like that again.
I remember the Battle of Fushimi all too clearly. Flashback! Oh, never mind. We do get this scene, don't we? On the evening of the third day of the new year, the war began. Cannons pounded the Fushimi Magistrate's office, and the ground shook with each impact. Whoa!
Hichikata-san, we can't take any more of this. That cannon up on the hill's tearing us apart. If we try to go up there, their guns will mow us down before we even get close. The rifles have impressive range, and their gunners are skilled. 1 out of every 2 shots finds its mark despite the difference.
Distance.
Despite the distance. Yeah, so they got 50% accuracy.
Yep.
Where's Senpachi? I can't seem to find him. He took 15 men from 2nd Division to attack the enemy line. Attack the enemy line? Is he insane? We're going to die out here. Or he's going to die out there. Shit. He's going to die out there.
I could see muscles working in Hichikata-san's jaw, but he said nothing. His face was pale, although whether from fear or tension, I couldn't tell. Outside, the roar of the cannons continued unabated. Just when it seemed certain that Nagakura-san must have perished.
Oh, say, can you see?
What?
Hey, you guys, I have returned.
Why?
because of the rockets, the red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
What?
Hey guys, I'm back.
Sorry, you've attacked my brain. What the fuck? I don't understand.
Like, the whole reason why the Star Spangled Banner was written, it was written while a battle was going on.
Oh, okay.
Machi.
Cries of surprise filled the room.
Oh! You're alive? Oh, what? Do I look like I'm a ghost? Go ahead and touch me if you don't believe it.
He grinned as he wiped a thick smear of blood and dirt from his face.
You can ignore that, that's not mine. Anyway, it's impossible to get to the enemy line. Some Aizu guys went ahead of us, but I heard they got pushed back too. Commander, there's nothing else we can do. Please, order the retreat.
His brow furrowed, and he scowled furiously.
Whoa, what's this? Where's the smoke coming from? The cannon must have set fire on the building. We need to get out of here. dead. Hijikata, we have to retreat. Now!
Even Akura-san's pleas seemed to fall on deaf ears.
Hijikata, why? Toshi?
Until this moment, the Shinsengumi had never known defeat in battle, but they were helpless against the firearms of the Sacho. The Shinsengumi was Hijikata-san's life. Defeat was hard to accept.
Yeah, you may be defeated, but you know what? You're alive, you fucking idiot.
This is why we like Yamazaki's route, because that's basically what he says. After what seemed
And it's
like...
not even in this, is it?
No.
Oh.
No, but something else is gonna happen and I'm not prepared for it.
No!
After what seemed like an eternity, he let out a long, ragged sigh.
I guess this is the end. Nobody can win a war with swords and spears anymore.
His knuckles turned white. There were several more minutes of tense, breathless silence before he finally looked up, his eyes burning with fury.
We're pulling back. But we haven't lost. They'll pay for this.
Fury wasn't the only thing in those eyes. Behind them, I could see a bitter, desperate agony.
I've been with him for a long time. I know how hard it was for the man to admit we had to retreat.
Inoue gazed up at the sky.
Pretty sure that's Inoue-san.
Yeah,
Or
that...
Gen-san.
Inoue-san.
Yeah, Yukimura says Inoue-san.
Yeah, that's me being oops.
One loss is enough. I'm not nearly as good as a swordsman as Kondo-san.
What? No, don't say... He interrupted me with a kind smile and continued.
But there are still ways for me to be of use to the Shinsengumi. So, let's keep our hopes up, shall we?
Thanks, Mark. Drinky water.
Hi, Sap. Thank you.
Num 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 num.
I am drinking tea, but yes.
Okay. The Shinsengumi and Kondo-san and Hijikata-san needed my help. I had to do whatever I could. Whee! It took us several hours to reach Yodo Castle. How long did it...
Several hours, so I'm thinking like 5.
Yo, hold on. I want to see if Yodo is in that map I have. Hold on. Give me a second.
I'm also gonna look up on maps for as well. Country homes, country roads. There we go. That's it.
What?
Wait a minute, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, I was going east whenever I should have went west.
The fuck?
Alright, Kyoto.
Let's see.
Now, what rivers are these?
Let's see.
What rivers did you say they were?
I remember one is Uji.
If I find the Uji, then I might find the rest of them.
Let's see. No, that's Kamagawa. And they're from Fushimi.
Forgive us, chat. We're kind of nerding out.
Yeah. Also because I had a book that had it, the things on it, and I could find stuff. But also, like, no, I can't find it. I see that this map points out where the road to Fushimi is, but that's where the map ends.
Oh, no.
Also, Niji Honwanji was very close to Shimabara.
Ah!
Eh?
I said, ha!
They very easily can get to Shimabara whenever they liked, when they lived there.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said waste. Ha!
Waste.
He said, I thought you said waste.
Who said waste?
I was going east when I should have been going west. Anyways, it took us several hours to reach Yodo Castle.
Yeah, it took us hours to reach Yodo Castle. Hijikata-san's hope was to use the castle as a new staging area, where he could garrison our troops and launch ambushes from. Unfortunately... That's weird. Why are the gates closed? Do you think they're already preparing for battle? There were no guards outside the castle, or indeed anywhere we could see. It was uncomfortably quiet.
Anybody seen the bitch?
Eh?
No.
He stood for a moment, absently rubbing his chin in thought, before finally making a decision.
No. We are here on the orders of the Shogun. We have come to request your help in battle against the rebels who would dare challenge this country's rightful rulers.
His voice echoed out through the stillness, but no one responded.
Oh no.
I had almost begun to think the castle was simply abandoned when... oh, look, there's someone in that window. Huh?
And kablam.
They've got something shiny.
Get down!
Huh? Inoue-san grabbed me by the wrist and pulled me down just as gunshots echoed from the castle walls. Jesus. My eyes darted around, but there were no rebels nearby. That meant that the bullets were meant for us.
Okay, well I will return fire.
My ducks! What's going on? I thought the Yodo were friendly.
They are.
Yodo domain. The domain governed by the Inaba clan. During the Bakumatsu period, their daimyo was one of the shogun's executive ministers, but was not around during the Battle of Toba Fushimi. Well, no wonder they went to shit.
Their daimyo was one of his shogun's ministers. Well, isn't that just prime? Either they've already been overrun by rebels, or they don't want to ally with the side they think is going to lose. We need to get back to the Min. It's dangerous to stay here.
But Hijikata-san told us to get reinforcements from Yodo.
That's not happening anymore.
Inoue-san only shook his head.
It's very clear now. It's clear now that they are no longer our allies. The longer we stay here, the more danger I put you in.
But if we leave, then what's going to happen to Hijikata-san? What's going to happen to the Shinsengumi?
I don't know.
Let's just try and talk to them. If we explain what's going on, I'm sure they'll understand.
Yukimura-kun, wait!
I've never seen Inoue-san glare at me before.
That's enough! I want to get back to Toshi with reinforcements as much as you do!
I felt myself wilt under his anger.
But my job here was twofold. Ask for reinforcements and to protect you. If something happens to you now, then I will have failed him twice. Now, come on!
There was nothing I could say. Inoue-san had fought alongside Hijikata-san since their first days in Edo before the Shinsengumi. He had undoubtedly felt even more devastated by Yodo's betrayal than I had, but he had still chosen to retreat so that he might protect me. Never before had I felt so ashamed and so helpless. There was nothing I could do. I'm sorry. I'm useless. I failed. Tears welled up in my eyes, and I brushed them away roughly.
Don't worry about it. After all, this is Toshi we're talking about. I'm sure he'll come up with some amazing plan and turn this whole thing around.
He laid at his hand?
He laid his hand, huh?
God damn it. He laid his hand on my shoulder and gave it a gentle, reassuring squeeze. I focused on the warmth of his hand and felt myself begin to calm down.
Your hand. Oh, fuck.
Your hand is warm. It reminds me of when my father used to pat me on the head when I was a little girl. Inoue-san's face wrinkled as he laughed.
Father, huh? I guess if I had a daughter, then she'd be right about your age now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong?
No. Not at all. I would have been honored to have a daughter like you. Now, we should get moving. I'm sure the men we left behind will get worried if we aren't back soon.
Okay. What?
Oh no.
We were nearly to the location where we'd left the rest of the soldiers, but something felt wrong. Weren't they supposed to be here?
Yes.
Did we get lost?
No, we couldn't have. It should be just up ahead.
Then, as we rounded the corner, I noticed something lying on the ground. Inoue-san! There's someone over here!
That cut out on Discord. No, impossible. The rebels couldn't have gotten here already.
He's wearing Shinsengumi blues. Could he...
Stay quiet. We don't want to give ourselves away.
I nodded. Could the Sacho already have troops here? If they did, they were hiding them very well. Neither Inoue-san nor I could sense anyone nearby. No rebels, but no Shinsengumi either.
I did not hear that.
Yay! Then we came around another bend in the road and I gasped. Warriors in the blue jackets of the Shinsengumi were piled up along the road, dead where they'd fallen. And standing in the middle of this carnage...
is the bitch. I thought these men looked familiar. You are here.
Kazuma's smile was a cruel, mocking thing. You... Why?
Why?
I was so furious I could barely speak.
To see what the Yodo domain had decided to do. It seems following tedious politics has at last paid off. I'd never thought I might find you.
I felt his eyes on me, like those of a snake staring down its prey, before they shifted to take in the dead men that littered the ground around him.
I know who this is for, but it's fitting given that last one.
You goddamn snake!
Eh?
She did say like a snake looking at its prey.
Right.
I thought they might entertain me until you returned, but they weren't even skilled enough to do that.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Inoue-san shake with rage. These were his men! Most of the men who lay dead on the ground in front of us were members of his 6th Division. And now, because I had chosen to stay with the Shinsengumi, Kazuma had returned and Inoue-san's men were dead. Kazuma had taken their lives. And for what?
I was otherwise engaged during our last encounter, Chizuru-chan. But this time, you will be leaving with me.
I don't know if he'd say Chan.
I thought that might have been appropriate, but I guess not. All right.
I actually am not sure, because... Well, we would know.
He's not up.
We would know if I could hear his lines, but also, Suda's lines are very low. Oh, yay!
This time. Hey, thanks. But this time, you will be leaving with me.
Ah! Kazuma had demonic powers that put him in a class above any mortal man. 2 skilled swordsmen working in concert might be able to hold him back, but not defeat him. Inoue-san and I would not be able to defeat him, nor, I suspected, would he allow us to escape. If I surrendered to him, however, then he might let Inoue-san leave. I stepped forward and steeled myself.
Stay back.
Inoue-san moved forward to put himself between me and Kazuma. Inoue-san? What are you doing?
I'm sorry, but you'll have to run for it. Get back to headquarters and tell Toshi-san... Tell him that I apologize for my incompetence, and that I hope he will forgive me for not staying with him to the end. Hold up. Tell him that I don't have the words to thank for giving a man like me a chance to be part of something. I'll never forget what he did for me.
No! I can't do that! I won't just leave you here to die! I choked out a sob and blinked away sudden tears. This man is after me!
I know.
If I go with him, then you can live, please! Inoue-san's smile was bitter.
Well. Are you suggesting I should use a girl for a shield so I can escape? How would I call myself a warrior then? Besides, what parents wouldn't lay down their life to protect their child? No father wants to see his daughter die before he does.
Right. But... Inoue-san had finished talking, though. He turned his back to me and drew his sword. Suddenly, I remembered the conversation we had on the way back from Yodo Castle. He told me that he was old enough to have a daughter my age. No, I cried to myself. That doesn't mean he has to do this. How could he throw his life away?
It's his choice, though.
Please, Inoue-san, run! I screamed and pleaded, but his back didn't move.
Finished your farewells? Then I'll give you a chance to take her up on your offer. Go on. Run.
Kazuma let his hand fall from the hilt of his undrawn sword.
Yeah. I can't do it. I tried, but Discord didn't like me.
Discord says no.
Yeah. Okay, I guess not.
Inoue-san launched himself at Kazuma and swung his sword down in a wide arc towards the demon's neck. Kazuma's sword slithered out of its scabbard too fast for the eye to follow. His hand simply blurred, and the tip of his blade emerged from Inoue-san's back.
Run, you idiot!
Blood bubbled out between his lips. Inoue-san!
I did not hear that.
Yay! He fell to his knees, the deep red stain rapidly devouring the light blue of his jacket. I feel like that's gonna happen a lot.
This chapter?
Mm-hmm. Kazuma's son? No, never. Ew. Kazuma's eyes flickered like sparks, and he bent down to whisper to Inoue-san.
Is something the matter, human? Aren't I the man who just slaughtered your subordinates? Don't you want to take revenge for them? I understood warriors put great stock in avenging the deaths of their comrades in arms.
Inoue-san glared back at him with white-hot rage and leapt to his feet.
Charging scream noise.
Number 52 here. He lashed out furiously at the demon, blood splattering onto the ground beneath him.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm sorry, what the
I think I broke her. Okay, give us a second. She needs to reboot.
God fucking damn it, midget! Why did you?
I wanted it to show up, but at the same time, I didn't want to be too loud, so it just... Yeah.
God fucking damn it! Oh! Oh, by the way, I know people can't see this, but I have purple butterfly hair clips holding my bangs back.
Hey!
So yay, I have something Hijikata colored related on me.
Yuna's is on now. Alright, anyways.
Kazuma simply laughed and stepped easily around Inoue-san's swinging sword. I didn't even see him strike. There was only the momentary flicker of sunlight on a blade, and blood erupted like a gash from a gash across Inoue-san's chest.
My apologies. I may have hit a little too hard. Yeah?
God fucking damn it. He ground his teeth, trying desperately to overcome the pain, and turned his strained gaze to me.
What are you still doing here, you idiot? Run! What are you doing? Run!
Droplets of blood flew from his mouth as he cried out, and his face was already waxy and pale.
You fool!
I scrambled to my feet and turned to leave.
My. Of all the humans I fought, you are by far the weakest. Why would the Shinsengumi allow someone so pathetic amongst their ranks? I wonder. Though, I suppose they are rather eccentric. I almost could not say that.
I felt something inside me snap. Stop! Don't! As I cried out, I heard the awful sound of steel slicing through flesh. Time slowed to a crawl, and I could do nothing but watch as Inoue-san fell, without a cry, to the ground. Inoue-san?
And here's a couple of screams I'm not going to hear, folks.
Nope. Inoue-san?
Oh.
Inoue-san?
Okay, that I actually heard.
Even as part of my mind screamed at me to run, I scrambled towards him, grabbing for his hand. It was still warm. A warmth like my father. But Inoue-san's eyes no longer saw. His ears no longer heard. He had joined his men among the corpses on the road.
Now, this pest has been dealt with. There's no one else to save you. Come.
He flicked his sword clean and slid it back into its scabbard. Then he stepped forward and reached for my hand.
Run for it.
You think that's it?
I think so, because this is not his route.
Get revenge.
Wow.
Inoue-san had told me to run. Hijikata-san needed to hear his last words, and now he's in no position to fight a demon. I knew all this, and I could hear a part of my mind screaming at me to run, but the roaring flames of rage drowned it out. How could I have let him die to protect me? Inoue-san was so kind. Just looking at his lifeless body sprawled in the dirt made my heart feel as though it would shatter into 1,000 pieces. But more than anything, I hated Kazuma for killing my friend, as if he was nothing more than an irritating insect. I grabbed desperately for my kodachi and pulled it from its scabbard, bringing it up into an attack position.
I thought you were smarter than this. But I see now your time with the humans has poisoned your mind. You disappoint me.
Shut up!
I barely heard that.
Hot tears rolled down my cheeks.
Why are you upset? Does it bother you that I swatted this fly? He was human, and he was foolish enough to challenge a demon. What other outcome could there have been?
But drink water.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll be sure to set fire to you, half-troll, later. For now.
Shut up. Shut up! Never in my life had I spoken to someone like that. But
Ladies
now-
on!
Eh?
Ladies on.
Ah. But never in my life had I so wanted to kill someone. If only I'd been able to transform my wrath into strength, I would have been the strongest creature alive. You! I can never forgive you for what you've done! Please, Inoue-san, give me the strength to strike him down. I tightened my grip on my sword, my knuckles white, and leapt towards Kazuma with a yell. Ah! Contemptuously? Contemptuously. He slapped my strike aside. My kodachi flew out of my hands and clattered to the ground. I reached out to grab it again. Kazuma's foot came down on my arm, and pain shot through it.
Enough of this stupid game.
His red, arrogant eyes burned into mine. The eyes of the monster who killed Inoue-san.
You do not seem to understand who your master is. That is unfortunate. Perhaps I should punish you, so that you will never defy me again.
I felt the cold steel of his sword on my throat.
Pain is an excellent tool for discipline. Fortunately, your body heals quickly.
Damn you! I glared at Kazuma with all the anger I could muster, but all I got in return was a cruel smile. Inoue-san had told me to run, but I hadn't, and now I couldn't. Kazuma was right about one thing. I couldn't escape from him. If I
At
couldn't...
break in progress.
Yay! If I couldn't escape, then at least I could refuse to give him the satisfaction of a compliant victim.
Compliance, yes.
If all you're going to do is use me however you like, then I might as well bite off my tongue and drown in my own blood. Which she actually does attempt to do in a completely different route. That's not even here. I'm not telling you which one.
It's not even his route, is it?
No, it's not even any of these routes. It's one of the new boys. Which aren't here, unfortunately.
Don't remember giving you permission to do that. And I don't much care for people who can't follow orders.
The moment I heard that voice, my head suddenly cleared. There was no way I could mistake it. It was... Hijikata-san! I felt tears spring to my eyes again, but for a very different reason. This was no dream, no hallucination. Toshizo Hijikata stood in front of me.
Damn it. I had a feeling you guys were in trouble, but...
He stopped just as his voice was about to crack, and simply looked at Inoue-san's body, his face twisted with grief and regret.
You done goofed.
Yep. Hijikata-san's jaw tightened, and his breast shook as if he were about to cry. I knew what I was about to say would hurt him, but he had to hear it. Inoue-san wanted me to tell you something. He said that he wanted to apologize for his incompetence, and he hoped that you would forgive him for not staying with you until the end. There was a lump in my throat and my eyes burned, but I had to keep going. He said he didn't have the words to thank you for giving a man like him the chance to be a part of something, and that he'd never forget what you did for him. As I choked out the final words, I began to sob. Hijikata-san said nothing.
Bert.
Yep, you heard my phone. You heard Knights. Slowly, almost as if in prayer, he bowed his head. When he lifted it again, his eyes were changed. They shone now with the brilliant fires of rage. With a tight, deliberate purpose, he drew his sword. The Izumi no Kami Kanasada. It whispered through the air as he raised it in an attack stance. I know how to say this sword's name now! Thank you, Token Ranbu! The favorite sword of Toshizo Hijikata. It was the work of an 11th generation Kanasada swordsmith, which is why it's called Kanasada. And why there's many Kanasadas. But
Yeah,
this one is Hijikata's.
Same deal with Masamune.
Yeah, same with Kunihiro.
Mm.
But we like our tiny Kunihiro.
Another human who wishes to throw his life away. It is difficult for me to understand why your kind is so anxious to die. I was hoping I'd seen the last of this idiocy. Very well, let's get this over with.
Kazuma's voice was bored, but as he spoke, the fire in Hijikata-san's eyes grew into a raging furnace.
Anger unchained. Throw his life away, you piece of shit! How dare you say he threw his life away?
Hijikata-san roared in wordless fury and launched himself towards Kazuma. My voice
Roar.
cracked. Roared.
Roar.
God fucking damn it. With all his weight behind its blade, he struck at the demon's neck. Kazuma flicked his sword up to catch Hijikata-san's. For a moment it looked as though they were evenly matched, and then Kazuma was thrown back.
Ow. What?
From the look on his face, it was likely the first time he had ever found himself overpowered by a human, and he was stunned. Hijikata-san didn't let that opening go to waste. He pushed forward, his sword hissing back and forth through the air as if possessed. No, that's Haruka's sword that's possessed.
Hmm.
Just moments ago, Kazuma's face had been calm and serene. Now it was warped with frustration and surprise.
Ow.
Hijikata-san, by contrast, wore a manic grin, and his blade slammed again and again into Kazuma's with more strength than I'd ever seen before.
I never thought that I would show this form to a mere human. Be honored, mortal. The moment your eyes behold a true demon is the moment of your death.
And with that, the battle changed.
Yeah.
Kazuma's sword hummed and flickered through the air with ease, far faster and smoother than it had been a minute before. It was all Hijikata-san could do to anticipate and block his strikes, leaving him no time to try and land an offensive blow of his own.
Where is the fire you had a moment ago? Is this the most you can muster for the dead insect?
Kazuma's demonic strength and endurance were beginning to show. He wasn't even breathing hard.
Damn.
Hijikata-san, however, was quickly running short of breath. All Kazuma had to do was wait for him to tire, and
Damn it.
he threw his full strength behind his sword and lunged at Kazuma one more time. The demon anticipated his blow easily and twisted to the side as Hijikata-san's blade swept past him.
God.
Kazuma's hand snapped. Kazuma's hand snapped out and Hijikata-san's sword fell, clattering to the ground. Hijikata-san! In my mind's eye, I could already see him, crumpling to the dirt just as Inoue-san had done. A slow puddle of blood growing under his still warm body. I had to do something. I couldn't let him die too. But I was utterly and completely helpless. Useless. He fell to his knees, his chest heaving. Sweat rolled down his forehead in streams, and the cloth of his shirt was soaked. Kazuma lifted his sword and pointed it at Hijikata-san.
This is the end for you.
His mouth curved up into a cold, confident smile.
Humans are such fools. They will try to fight what they know they cannot defeat. I call that recklessness, not courage. You have underestimated the power of a demon and chosen not to fear us. I hope your last thoughts are of shame at your ignorance.
As Kazuma spoke, Hijikata-san dragged his tired body across the ground towards his fallen sword.
What's this? Trying to run?
Hijikata-san reached his sword. With the last ounce of strength he possessed, he lifted it up once again and turned to face his foe.
You won't bow, will you? I've made a fool of you, and yet you refuse to acknowledge the difference between us?
No. Hijikata-san was not the sort of man to care about a difference in strength, but neither was he the sort of man that would simply abandon victory. So why then had he not responded? As I watched, he pulled out something from inside his shirt.
No!
A tiny bottle filled with red liquid.
The water of life, huh? How far do you mean to take this idiocy?
Idiocy?
Idiocy, thank you. Idiocy?
Hijikata-san replied with a toothy grin.
I'm an idiot, huh? Like I give a shit what you think. We were always a pack of idiots. We shared an idiot's dream that we were all too bullheaded to give up on. And now, here we are. We're halfway up the hill. If we stumble now, we're gonna fall all the way back down. Even if you become a fury, you'll be nothing more than a faded reflection of a true demon.
Hijikata-san's grin never wavered.
Well, you never know till you try.
Hijikata-san, no!
Hijikata-san, yes.
My cries fell on deaf ears. Hijikata-san lifted the bottle to his lips and drank.
Nom, 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 nom.
In Hijikata-san's place, there was now a white-haired demon.
This is impossible. You can't be the legendary Super Saiyan.
What the Anyway.
I mean, it's right there for the differences, but anyways, shut up.
Hijikata-san's voice rumbled out from the fury, dark and low like approaching thunder.
Shut up.
Toshizo Hijikata, Hijikata became a fury after drinking the water of life. That's what we needed to know, apparently.
I've had enough of these fucking cowards in the shogunates, and I'm tired of you goddamn demons. So, I'm not a real demon? Why the hell should I care? Never once in my whole life have they treated me like a real warrior.
His eyes burned with anger.
But hell, when are we supposed to find a real warrior these days? A lot of men calling themselves samurai, when all they gotta do is sit 10 feet behind 10 feet of stone in a castle and get fat. One thing those sons of bitches care about is making sure they only buddy up to the side that's gonna win. We're better soldiers than any of those bastards.
Hijikata-san's words weren't just for Kazuma anymore. They were for Inoue-san, who had died in a fight he couldn't win. For the shogunate and the counselors, who didn't have the courage to make difficult decisions. And for everyone who had ever refused to treat the Shinsengumi as true warriors.
And I believe what I believe. Nothing can change that. And I will never, ever retreat. That's what brought us this far. Call us fake if you want. But if we push hard enough and don't give up, eventually we will become what we say we are. If I can defeat you now as a fury, then I know we can become real demons, right?
The predatory grin on Hijikata-san's face wasn't human. Jesus.
Wait, was that you?
What?
Is that you who did the...
Nope.
Then what? Oh, that was in the game then. Oh, shit.
When he leapt at Kazuma, because that's what he did, he moved so fast that I could barely even see him. He'd been impressive as a human, but as a fury, he was beyond belief. Kazuma smashed aside the first attack, but a second followed it almost immediately, and then a third. Blow after blow crashed against his defenses, giving him no time to even breathe.
Come on. Is that all you've got?
That's a scary Hijikata.
I'll say. I thought you were just ants. I thought we were just ants for you to crush. Where's your smart mouth now, demon?
Yeah, that was the game. Hijikata-san's eyes flashed like a great beast closing in on its prey, and he lunged at Kazuma. With an effort, he managed to swing his blade up in time to catch Hijikata-san's, but he'd lost the advantage of casually superior strength. He left stage. Left, right?
Somewhere. He left stage somewhere.
His sword rebounded from Hijikata-san's strike and Kazuma was forced back. Hijikata-san left for the opening.
Leroy Jenkins. Yeah.
Hijikata-san's sword moved so fast for the eye to see. A line of blood simply appeared on Kazuma's face. Oh no! The face!
Oh yeah!
He clapped a hand to it in surprise and pain, and jumped backwards trying to put space between them.
Great. Looks like you're finally getting into it. You look like a man now. How does it feel to get cut by a fake?
Cosmo didn't even seem to hear Hijikata-san's words. He simply stared, eyes wide, at the blood that fell from his face and pool in his hand. Even as I
He is
watched.
shocked.
Yep. Even as I watched, his wounds close themselves. The stream of blood slowed to a trickle and then stopped.
Damn you!
Though the wound itself had disappeared, it seemed the ramifications had not.
How dare you! False demon! Insect! Scum! How dare you draw my blood!
It must have been the first time he'd ever been wounded by a human. Cosmo's
Preternaturally.
preternaturally, okay. Cosmo's preternaturally calm face was distorted now by rage and disgust. It was the first time I had ever seen him truly look like a demon.
I will never forgive you for this. I will torture you until you beg for death. You will learn what it truly means to feel pain.
Look at that face.
Oh.
I feel like I haven't seen that before. It looks ever the slightest bit goofy, and I just like, why?
At last we get to see the real Kazuma. Fine. Go at me. I dare you to kill me.
He bared his teeth in a wicked smile.
How am I nailing these so good?
I don't know. It's because it's like the same thing I feel with Kaoru. Like when you reach that point where you have to be a little bit crazy, it just happens. Their swords collided with a resounding crash. No, Discord didn't like that. Nope. That was just cutting you out. What the fuck?
Why?
I don't know. Discord is being weird again.
Okay.
Kazuha had been strong before, but now his blows landed with all the strength of a cannon. Veins shot out on Kazuma's neck and forehead as he strained against the onslaught.
Damn you. You are nothing. Not even a shadow of a demon. How dare you draw my blood?
Kazuma had gone mad with rage, his golden eyes wide and bloodshot.
Bastard.
Every time their swords met, I could see Hijikata-san's chip and shake. It looked as if the next blow could break it in two. Hijikata-san tried desperately to block with the back of the blade and protect it from more damage, but Kazuma's strikes were too quick and too powerful. Hatred rolled off of them in waves. Neither of them would be satisfied with simply killing the other.
I'll never forgive you, you arrogant son of a bitch. You're going to hell, even if I gotta drag you there myself.
His clothes were soaked with blood, but eyes alight with vigor and determination shone out from beneath his white hair.
Ah, go to hell all you like, but you'll be going alone.
They leapt at each other like enraged animals, blows flying so quickly that they could only defend or attack on instinct. It was clear that the battle would only end when one of them was dead, but it was rapidly becoming clear that Hijikata-san was fighting in a way that put him at a disadvantage. Back home, he'd always been so calm, even in the heat of battle, but cool detachment had fled with his humanity. I had to stop them. If I didn't, Hijikata-san would die. But awe and terror at their display of violence and skill had sealed my voice in my throat. Even though I was a demon just like Kazuma, I was helpless. It was maddening.
Yukimura!
I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. I heard footsteps pounding along the path and spun around to find the source of that familiar voice.
The commander left to go see how things had gone with the Yodo, and he hasn't returned. Have you seen him?
Yamazaki-san! His timing couldn't have been better. In that moment, Yamazaki-san looked like an angel. Yamazaki, please. We're in trouble. Hijikata-san's fighting a demon and Inoue-san is... I wanted to explain what happened, but somewhere between my brain and my mouth it got all jumbled and I found myself stammering unintelligibly.
Unintelligibly. That's what came out of her mouth, I bet you.
Yes. Yamazaki-san stared at me for only a moment before he glanced past my shoulder and saw the battle raging there. His eyes widened in shock and horror.
What's going on here? That white-haired demon. Is that a fury?
No.
No.
Oop,
No,
I did
those
it this time.
clothes. They're... Oh my god.
Realization began to dawn on his face, but he couldn't tear his eyes away from the battle. That's Hijikata-san. He drank the water of life.
No. I know why you... First, that one Yamazaki line was yours. It's because of the fact that the names, at first glance, are similar.
Yeah. With a dull twang, the sword left out of Hijikata-san's hands and clattered to the ground.
This battle is mine. Though I am impressed that you lasted so long with such a dull sword.
He gave Hijikata-san a tight smile.
Guh.
Hijikata-san kept low to the ground and slowly began to move away. Kazuma followed just as slowly, his grin widening at Hijikata-san's apparent fear.
I hope you haven't forgotten that I don't intend to simply kill you. Eventually you'll die, of course, but not before I've inflicted on you all the pain I can imagine.
The advantage once again his. Kazuma's calm had returned.
I know. When I'm finished, I'll skin you alive and send your head back to your beloved Shinsengumi, preserved in alcohol. They deserve to see you at your best. To start, I think I'll take you off your arms, then feed them to stray dogs.
Kazuma hefted his sword, its blade still clean and undamaged. Hijikata-san!
Wow, that cut out quick.
As I screamed as loud as I could, some irrational part of me hoping that might change the outcome. A horrible wet sound filled my ears. I'm not ready for this.
And Yamazaki's ears. What?
I looked up. Blood had splattered across the front of Kazuma's shirt, but Hijikata-san was unharmed.
What are you doing, Commander? You are the mind of the Shinsengumi. We are your arms and your legs. Why are you running out to face the enemy alone? Yamazaki, what are you saying?
By the way, you know what this scene is, right?
Yeah.
I can't.
God damn it.
I can't.
We have to.
I don't wanna!
I know, but we have to.
There's an ambulance outside!
I think I barely heard it. Like, when you said there was an ambulance outside, I think I barely heard it. Yamazaki, what are you saying?
His voice shook. Yamazaki-san smiled back, his eyes shining as I'd seen them do when he and Hijikata-san were discussing important secrets.
If you lose an arm or a leg, you can always replace it. But if you lose the head, then you lose everything. The chief and the commander, the two of you make a whole.
With that, he went limp, the last of his energy exhausted, and crumpled to the ground. Blood pooled beneath him, turning the packed dirt a deep red.
No.
Yamazaki-san!
I barely heard any of that.
There's no police somewhere?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
That's what I heard. I grabbed a hold of him, as if that might somehow bring him back to consciousness.
And he transformed back. Okay.
Oh.
Yamazaki. Why?
No sound. Was the sound not here before?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yamazaki. Why?
His hair had slowly begun to shift back to its original color. As I watched, he struggled to blink back tears.
Hey! Hijikata! Yamazaki! Gen! Where are you guys?
Nagakura-san's voice echoed through the forest from some distance away.
Damn it. I should finish you off now.
Kazuma lifted his sword and made to swing it down when out of nowhere, a hulking form appeared between us.
Stop. Any further battles will lead to unnecessary casualties. Are you ordering me to retreat? Am I supposed to just let this worm who dared cut my face simply go free? Killing him would be easy enough for you, but to do so would go against the wishes of the Satsuma domain. Ultimately, they desire for the shogunate to fall by their hand, not the hand of a demon.
His tone made it clear how little he thought of that desire, but his commitment to obedience was clearly greater. Kazuma wasn't pleased with Amagiri's interruption, but he seemed to feel that it was pointless to argue over the matter with his fellow demon.
Hijikata, was it? I will not forget that name. I will have my revenge. Same to you. I won't be able to sleep at night until I've sent your soul to the afterlife.
They glared at one another with such hate, I felt as if they might spontaneously combust. Then Cosmo spun on his heel and followed Amagiri off into the forest. No sooner had they disappeared.
Ad break in a minute and ends in a minute and a half. Hey, you there, Hijikata-san? Oh wait a minute, I think he just says Hijikata. No, he says Hijikata-san.
Yep.
Hijikata-san. What the hell's going on? There's dead men all over the place. Did you run into some rebels? No, those are sword cuts. Go look at Yamazaki. I think he's still alive. What?
Nagakura stared in horror and sudden realization at Yamazaki-san's limp body.
What happened here? Come on, Yamazaki. Hang in there. Anybody got some clean cloth? And booze. Anything alcoholic's good. Here, take this cloth if you need it. He needs it more than I do. Ah, thanks, Sano.
I think those lines got moved to Chizuru. In the remake. In the remake.
That sounds about right.
I'll have two. Let me look at him.
Okay, there it is.
No, yeah, I think the line before with like the booze and stuff, it was switched to Chizuru because I remember Nagakura going like, "Hey, does anybody have like this type of alcohol or something?"
Any booze will do.
I desperately called up everything I could remember about first aid and set to work next to Nagakura-san and Harada-san.
Commander, what happened here?
Hijikata-san didn't even seem to hear him.
I never thought I would sacrifice my old men so that I could survive. Sacrifice? Inoue-san's body is over there. Can you give me a hand burying him? His men, too. It gets cold this time of year. Can't leave him out there to freeze.
My God, Hijikata! I knew that he wanted to break down and cry more than any of us, but in front of his men he struggled to grin and joke. It wasn't just too much. I felt myself begin to sob, but I couldn't bear to do it in front of Inoue-san and Yamazaki-san, so I buried my face in my hands and let the tears flow soundlessly. Inoue-san had given his life to save mine. Hijikata-san had become a fury to fight the demon who chased me across Kyo. Yamazaki-san had taken a blow that might well end his life to protect Hijikata-san. What could I possibly do for them? How could I atone for my sins? I thought about it for a long time, but no answers came.
Whoosh.
That night, Sun and Sun and the Fury Corps launched an attack in revenge for the events of the afternoon. Once the sun set, it became harder to aim a gun, which the Shinsengumi hoped would give the Fury Corps the advantage. At first it did, and the Furies were even more successful than they'd hoped. But then the gunners began to fire different special bullets, and the Fury Corps were quickly driven back. The loss was devastating, and our allies quickly crumbled. With the betrayal of the Yodo and Su domains, and the refusal of the Owari domain to become involved in any way, the Shinsengumi was alone. Su domain, a domain governed by the daimyo of Todo. Pow! Right! Although he was an opposition daimyo, he was given the same respect as a predecessor.
So, Hesuke is basically royalty.
Here's the thing. Like, the actual Hesuke Todo, rumored to be a, the fuck is the word?
A bastard?
Yeah, I was thinking of a different word, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, there's rumors that he is the illegitimate child, that's the word, of the Todo daimyo of Su. It's not confirmed, but he does have a sword that it's pretty much known to be a part of this family. So, take it as you will. Owari domain, the leader and largest of the 3 branches of the Tokugawa clan. The lord of this domain was higher in rank than the lords of the other 2. With our allies gone and enemies everywhere, we had no choice but to retreat to Osaka Castle. Osaka Castle, built by Hideyoshi Toyotomi during the Warring States period to surpass Nobunaga's Azuchi Castle. It was a stronghold of the shogunate and considered impregnable.
Well, here we are. Damn, this place is big. What's the sense in building a place like this? Hijikata, son, we're gonna take Yamazaki to see Dr. Ryojun, okay? Fine. Go ahead.
Yamazaki-san had groaned in pain all the way home. I hoped he would
Pain
be alright.
hurts. Ow.
What?
Pain and hurts. Ow.
God damn you. I was also worried for Hijikata-san. Now that he was a fury, being out in the sunlight had to be painful for him. Hijikata-san, are you feeling alright? I mean, physically?
What? You surprised to see a fury out during the day?
Yes, it's very worrying. No, I mean, that's not what I was just wondering if anything has changed. Even if I wasn't directly at fault, he'd become a fury because of the demon I'd attracted.
So far? No. So far, nothing. Still, pretty soon it'll probably be painful for me to me even look at the sun. Might as well enjoy it while I can.
Oh no.
I don't know what's going on in that head of yours, but only one person made the decision to drink that stuff. Me.
Ah, so he does know.
Besides, I've ordered plenty of men to cut themselves open or become furies. I can't really wuss out whenever it's my turn, can I? I had a feeling this would happen eventually. Don't blame yourself.
It wasn't that easy, though. I couldn't just take him at his word and shed all the guilt I felt. When I looked up at him, though, his expression seemed somehow relieved. This is kind of a weird question, but did something good just happen?
Of course.
He looked up at the castle walls and laughed.
Isn't it obvious? This castle will never fall. So as long as we stay here, we can't lose. Maybe we'll do what Yukimura Sanada couldn't, and maybe I'll get some revenge.
Yukimura Sanada, a general from the Warring States period, his tactical skills contributed greatly to the Osaka defense during the siege of Osaka, although the castle ultimately fell. What? Also, another Yukimura. Probably not the same, but... Do with that information as you will.
Yeah. How could I not be excited?
The man I'd watched fight the demon Kazuma was nowhere to be seen. Hijikata-san's face was now that of a man looking forward, determined to win. I smiled to myself. He hadn't given up hope.
Commander, there you are. What's wrong? We've been ordered to put to sea immediately. We're returning to Edo. Edo? What do you mean? I thought we were gonna stay here and get that rebel scum a little payback. Well,
He hesitated, and I sensed that it was out of reluctance, not confusion. When he spoke, he sounded as if he didn't even quite believe what he was saying.
I've received word that Yoshinobu Tokugawa has already boarded a ship and is headed for Edo. So, there is little point in remaining here.
For a moment, Hijikata-san simply stood there, stunned. When he spoke, his voice was a sinister growl.
What the hell do you mean? He's on a boat to Edo. His army put their necks out on the line for him, and he's running away to save his own sorry ass. Well, to be honest, I'm not really too sure myself.
Shimada-san didn't look much more pleased about the situation than Hijikata-san.
Damn it.
Damn it. It looked like damn it. Unable to contain his frustration, he kicked out at the nearest tree. His eyes thinned and he kicked it several more times. At last he stopped, slightly out of breath, and tried to regain his earlier calm.
Fine. Not like we were fighting for Tokugawa himself in the first place. They don't have the balls for it. Fine. We don't need them. We still got the Denshu Company and a couple of those warships the shogunate bought from the foreigners.
Denshu Company, an elite force trained in Western tactics by French military instructors.
Oui, baguette le mange pois.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It means I eat the pear. When we get to Edo, we'll just have to start this fight up again.
Perhaps it was the desperate exhilaration of having her back to the wall, but I saw the fire of determination light in Hijikata-san's eyes. That was how the Shinsengumi and the last remnants of the old shogunate were forced to leave Osaka Castle and return to Edo. During the trip, Yamazaki-san's wounds grew worse, and eventually he passed away.
Oh!
My boy!
No!
Ah! Why? Why, my boy? I mean, I know why, but fuck history! Yamazaki-san himself has said that Hijikata-san was the head, and the rest of the Shinsengumi were his arms and legs. To me, it seemed that was truer than even Yamazaki-san had realized. His death was as painful to Hijikata-san as the loss of a real limb. Yamazaki-san was buried at sea in a ceremony presided over by Takeaki Inamoto, a one-time vassal of the shogunate who was bound for Edo on the same ship. Takeaki Inamoto, a second-in-command of the shogunate navy and captain of the flagship Kayomaru.
Chapter 5. To sea.
Nope.
January of 1868.
We're in the Kama Inn. Upon arriving in Edo, we were forced to live in an inn originally meant for Hatamoto. It was located in Shinagawa and was known as the Kama Inn. Hatamoto, high-ranking vassals of the Tokugawa clan who served the shogun directly. Which I guess you can also give to Haruka. I think. Come in, a traveler's inn at Shinagawa, used by samurai on official duty. Kondo-san's shoulder injury and Okita-san's tuberculosis were both being treated by Matsumoto-sensei at his home.
Hey!
The Shinsengumi had lost Satoba Fushimi, retreated from Osaka Castle, and were plagued by doubts as to the alliance of the shogunate forces and Yoshinobu himself. Things were hardly looking good, and the men were tense and worried.
What's the chief getting back? Better not have run away just to save his ass like Yoshinobu. No way, he'd never do that.
I feel like these guys forgot that the man was shot in the shoulder! Normally, such insubordination would have earned a harsh reprimand, if not more, but things had changed.
Hey, you guys are talking too much. If you got time to screw around, then how about you go sharpen your swords, huh? Yes, sir. My apologies.
It wasn't just the tempers of the rank-and-file soldiers that were fraying. Nagakura-san and the others seemed just as on edge. Harada-san watched the two men scurry off and sighed.
Well, I can see where they're coming from. As soon as war broke out, the man at the top was the first to run. That's pretty sad. Maybe, but, I mean, what else do you expect? Wasn't the man a national loyalist for Mito?
Mito Domain, one of the three houses of the Tokugawa, the domain and their daimyo have had strong nationalist tendencies for generations.
He's probably pissed that... He's probably just pissed himself once he saw the Satsuchu out at the...
Satcho!
Satsuchu
Oh my
had
God.
the Imperial standard. he can't look at like much of a threat from their side of things.
Midget.
I'm sorry, Satsu.
Sacho.
Satcho. Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to do Sats and Shu. Okay,
Why?
I don't know, but Satchu, I think he probably just pissed himself once he saw the Satchu at the Imperial's battle standard. He can't look like much of a threat from their side of things.
Imperial battle standard. The standard of the Imperial Army. It was customarily given to a commander by the Emperor and represented the commander's directive to destroy enemies of the court. Oh, I guess that means like the fucking gold brocade banner thing. That's what they mean. Once that's given to an army, it's like, yeah, we're officially the army of the Emperor.
Doesn't matter what your politics are. You turn your back on men who are willing to give their lives for you. There's only one thing you are: a son. I have a joke. A son of a Kazuma. A son of a bitch.
Yes! I knew when you said you had a joke, I'm like, oh no. It's like, I know what's coming. I know what's coming and I'm not prepared for it. Son of a Kazuma.
Those Chosu guys were just inches away from being utterly destroyed, but they risked their lives. They didn't give up, and they survived. Hell, they practically won. The Shogunate, though, they gave up before they even got in a fight. So what's gonna happen now? Kondo-san's stuck in bed. Even if we wanted to go up against the Satsuma and the Choshu, swords can't compete with guns. We're screwed.
He sighed and let his shoulders slump. So long as the men you led are willing to fight, you can always raise morale, no matter what weapons they have. But Yoshinobu would rather run. Then what were the Shinsengumi supposed to fight for? What were they supposed to do?
It's just looking pretty dark for us. Thinking about it is just making me depressed, though. Maybe we ought to head over to Yoshiwara.
Yoshiwara, an authorized, self-contained red light district in Edo where the licensed brothels can be found. Nagakura.
What? All I want to do is just go and get a drink, take the edge off.
He gave a tired sigh and stretched. As I looked around the inn, I remembered I hadn't seen Saito-san for a while. I'd heard he'd taken the sick and injured to Matsumoto-sensei's, and he hadn't come back, hadn't had time to return yet. We had to win the next battle. I knew they were all doing the best they could already, but when I thought of the peaceful times we'd enjoyed back in Kyo, they seemed so far away. Sometimes I wondered if they'd happen at all. But there was one thing that worried me above all else. Hijikata-san, I brought you some tea. I knocked politely on the door, but he didn't respond. Hijikata-san, are you there? I'm going to open the door. He was sitting in the back of the room at his desk, writing furiously. From time to time, he would pause and think for a few moments, then continue to write, then return to writing. Hijikata-san, I brought your tea.
Oh, leave it here.
He didn't even bother to turn around and acknowledge me, and his voice was distant and faint. As I sat up from setting his tea down, I noticed that he was looking even worse than usual. His face was pale, almost blue, and there were tremendous dark shadows underneath his eyes.
Did the test finally catch up with him? That he assigned?
Ah, Jesus Christ. That took me a second. But Jesus.
Yes,
He's having fun with us, folks.
I am.
Ichikata-san was a fury now. Being awake and active during the day had to be tortuously difficult for him. But he'd continue to work at such a feverish pace, I almost thought he was possessed. Well, I'll be going now. Don't push yourself too hard. I had made it almost to the door when we were interrupted.
Are you here, Commander? Oh, yes. What is it? Weren't we supposed to meet with that vassal today? You remember? Yeah. Well, I just got word that he was going to give us the brush off and go somewhere else.
Ichikata-san grunted.
No, we need to talk to him. I don't care how. If we can't, we're stuck. I'll go.
And with that, he stormed out of the room. He looked
Well,
off.
that's not good.
He looked awful when I'd come in. I hope he'd be alright.
Oh, God. Ever since we got to Edo, he's been working non-stop.
He mumbled under his breath, almost impressed, as Ichikata-san stalked out.
He's been visiting some of the shogunate bigwigs. He's hoping to get support for a rematch against the rebels. The men are starting to wonder if when he sleeps or even if he sleeps.
I knew it wasn't his intent, but Shimada-san's words hurt. Had Ichikata-san not been a fury, then the toll on his body would not have been so high. Shimada-san, are you okay? You look like you've lost a little weight too.
Ah, well, ever since Yamazaki passed away, I've got a lot more work to do now. But he left it to me, and I'll be damned if I dishonor his memory by messing it up.
Shimada!
And after seeing how far the commander is pushing himself for us, it just wouldn't feel right if I sat around all day, you know?
I suppose. I knew how Shimada-san felt, but he was in a position to actually contribute. There was nothing I could do for Hijikata-san. The day he died, Inoue-san had told me that while I might not be much help to the Shinsengumi as a warrior, there were other ways that I might be of service. I thought about that every day since Inoue-san and Yamazaki-san had died, but I had yet to think of what it was that I could do.
Well, I've got plenty more to do, so I'll be on my way.
Oh, yes, of course. Please be careful.
Oh, right. I've heard that there are a lot of killers out on the streets these days. Creeps looking to test out their swords on a living body. So you probably shouldn't go out alone at night, alright?
Okay. Shimada-san nodded, then lifted himself heavily to his feet and left. Later that night, I was waiting in the empty common room for the captains to return.
Ah, evening, Chizuru-chan.
Oh, Heisuke. Where's everyone
Oh,
else?
no, he just says Chizuru. Okay.
Yes. Where's everyone else?
Oh, Shin and Sano took them in to Yoshiwara and left me behind the house set. Man, I'm not a servant, you know. They can't keep giving me this kind of bitch work. Oh, I guess that's cool they're acting like they always did. To me, I mean. Like nothing ever changed.
His laugh sounded small and lonely in the empty hall. Oh, that reminds me. Do you know where Sanan-san is? Did he go somewhere?
Yeah, I heard he's out on patrol.
Patrol? But... we're not in Kyo anymore. Ah! Oh, hi, Jim!
Hello, welcome to the stage.
It's been a while. I need to drink water.
Yeah. Yep, I'm getting my tea.
I have run out of water.
And I have plenty of tea, so we're gonna choose this moment for a BRB so she can go get more water, folks.
Yes, so I can get my water. Hold on. Where do I put?
Uh, Let me look.
Above Heska's head.
Yeah, like, yeah, I see where you're putting it.
Yeah, BRB. Gotta get water.
Drink water, everybody. I can see that. How you been? Yeah? Yeah, how are the holidays treating you right now? They're treating me like hell because I have not done any shopping yet. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hopefully you stick around for tomorrow's afternoon stream, which is let me just take a look at the if I can find the schedule. Don't give me the stream twice. Okay. I believe tomorrow is. Oh yeah, that's right. Lo-fi rush. That's right. Tomorrow afternoon is Lo-fi rush, so hopefully you can stick around for that. It'll be about. She said 2 p.m. EST. So keep an eye out for that. What are they? And then we're coming back for more of this tomorrow, I believe. Tomorrow night, anyway. Oh, what you playing on there? Oh, okay. So you got yourself a PS5. All right. Oh, and of course we're going to be going to an ad break in a minute, or we're in an ad break minute.
Hello?
Hello.
What's going on? What happened?
We hit an ad break while you were gone,
Oh, yay.
like right before you get back, and yeah, King Jim over here normally just stops in for like 5 minutes and goes play their PlayStation,
Oh,
as you can see from the chat.
yes, I can see.
All right.
Hold on. I need.
Anyways, BRB is gone,
Yeah. I need the
and
air on for a second.
oh,
I'm gonna take some sippy sips.
hmm, which is precisely what I just did.
Good. Alright, the ad's gone.
Yep. Let's go.
Alright. We're not in Kyo anymore. No one asked us to keep the peace in Edo. Why is he still doing it?
Because Supreme King Jam has returned.
Hi!
Uh,
His face was solemn.
Sana-san's been acting weird lately. Like, just today, as soon as the sun went down, he told me he was leaving on patrol. I asked if he wanted me to go with him, but he said he'd be fine on his own.
Oh, well, I heard that there had been a lot of killings at night recently. Maybe he went out to see if he could learn anything about that?
Or he's causing it.
He might not have the same authority that he had in Kyo, but the Shinsengumi still worked for the shogunate. Perhaps Sana-san was simply trying to protect Edo, regardless of whether or not he'd been asked to.
Well, if that's the deal, then good.
He didn't much sound like he thought he was, however.
Oh, Hijikata-san, welcome back.
You're still up?
His face was still pale, but his tone was sharp. As I watched, I realized that he was only barely standing. He shook just slightly as he moved, and I got the feeling that if he let his concentration slip even a little, he would simply collapse. There was something wrong, but what should I say?
Hijikata, you should rest.
Is there anything I can do?
Oh.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I knew that what the answer would be, but I couldn't help asking.
No. Just stay put and stop thinking about that.
Well, that was clear enough.
Yep.
Oh, I see.
Even though everyone else was working themselves to the bone, barely sleeping or eating, all I could do was sit around, useless. Ichikat's son must have seen my face fall because his frown changed and his brows drew together.
Hey. Don't give me that look.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I feel like we gotta do an I'm sorry drink as well at some point. Should
I'm
we...
going to start on right now.
Okay, we're starting it, huh? Alright,
See.
water!
Not alcohol. Anything but alcohol. You will die.
Yep. The moment I said it, I realized I'd only made things worse. An apology only made me sound more miserable. No, that wasn't good at all. I needed to be more cheerful, or I'd just drag everyone else down with me. If I couldn't help, the least I could do was try not to hinder. Ichigata-san sighed.
You don't need to worry about us. Just go make some tea, alright? Your tea isn't that bad, I guess.
Okay, I'll be right back.
I ran off to the kitchen, my mood much improved. See, all you need to do is give her something to do, Hijikata!
Yeah, Hijikata. Hijikata-san. Wait, Hijikata-san? You put up a good front, but you're really pretty easy on her. Shut it. He's blushing.
I love you, Hakuoki, for doing that. Oh god, now I'm remembering that one scene
Oh no.
in the anime where Hakuoki is just like laying on the floor looking at Hijikata in Edo.
Yeah.
He's just staring at her like, hmm.
Someone's got a girlfriend.
I love that of Hakuoki.
Here you go. I could only find some hard candy to go with the tea, but
Fine. I have to get to work as soon as I drink this anyway. Are you sure you're going to be alright, Hichikata-san? You're a fury now. You should be sleeping during the day and working at night.
Hijikata-san didn't answer. Instead, he took a sip of his tea and sat in silence for a moment.
When we were leaving Osaka Castle, Kondo-san said something to me. He said that if he was the shogun, even if he had only had 200 or 300 men, he'd have locked himself in that castle and fought until he didn't have anyone left. Then he would have gutted himself like an honorable warrior. I told him that it doesn't do anybody any good when the guy on top dies. And it's bad news for everyone on the bottom. I told him he was being too idealistic. Now he's stuck in his bed, shot in the shoulder. He'd die for any one of us, and we all know it. Sure, I feel like shit, but that doesn't mean I get to rest.
He gave a weak grin.
Gotta get things back in order before he gets back.
There was a gleam in his eye, excitement at the thought of handing over a perfectly functioning Shinsengumi to his master and friend. If the rest of the men worried because they saw their chief laid low by a coward's bullet, Ichikata-san was buoyed by the simple fact that Kondo-san was alive, and that he had the courage to do what other leaders would not.
I don't think you've ever seen a buoy at all in your life. Little,
Yes. Yeah.
they float in water.
I know.
And okay.
I know what a buoy is. My brain was just confused. Why is this word here? He finished his tea quickly and returned to his room with only perfunctory thanks. My brain is shorting out.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's almost 11 o'clock for you, I see.
The day before, his light had stayed on late into the night. Today would likely be no different.
I got a bad feeling things are just gonna get worse from here on in. Hijikata sounds a fury. It doesn't look like he started to feel the bloodlust yet.
Bloodlust, a term used in reference to the ravenous thirst for blood that one develops after becoming a fury.
bloodlust?
When you become a fury, something happens to you. And, well, sometimes you really want to drink blood. Like, you need to. It hurts. And not like how it hurts when you get beat up during sword practice. You want to die because that'll make the pain stop.
Oh no.
My hand slipped to my mouth involuntarily.
Oh.
Hijikata-san already looked terrible. If unbearable pain were suddenly added to his many burdens.
Is there any way to do anything about it?
Well, if you drink some blood, then it goes away almost immediately, but it's only for a little while. And the longer you go without it, the more painful it gets. At first, you only need a little bit of blood to feel better. But after that, a while, you need more. And pretty soon, you have to drink a whole lot of blood before it goes away.
I was at a loss for words. A monster that could only survive by drinking human blood. It was like something out of a legend.
What about you, Heisuke? Are you, drinking blood?
His face twitched.
Hey, come on, don't ask me that.
He made some manner of excuse after that, then got up and left the common room, leaving me alone to think about Hijikata-san. Was he really okay?
No, he wasn't.
Had he already experienced the bloodless Heisuke had told me about, but refused to tell anyone?
Probably. This is Hijikata we're talking about.
Hello, Mr. Yan. Oh god, no. No! I don't want to hiccup! Give me the water.
No hip-ups.
Hip-ups! Okay, I like that word, hip-ups.
Yeah, it was from Rugrats to this day. It was basically baby. It's baby for hiccups. Yeah.
Do you know
I'll
how...
speak baby.
You speak baby?
Yes, I speak baby.
Okay, you speak baby. He hadn't... He couldn't have been in the throes of it when I saw him, but it was clear that sooner or later he would find himself in a great deal of pain. He was doing so much for the Shinsengumi. I wanted to do something, anything, to help ease that pain.
Yes, it is. There's a wrist and there's a Kodachi. You do the math.
Wasn't there any way to suppress that desire for blood?
Yes, blood.
Then it came to me. My father.
Yes, we'll go ahead and drain him full of his blood.
He had been doing research on the Furies. Perhaps he'd left something useful behind at my house. Kodo Yukimura, the protagonist's father, that has been researching the creation of Furies for the Satsuma and Choshu clans.
And we're in Edo, so...
It was already too late to visit, so I resolved to go the next day and see if I could find anything. Whoosh! Here we are. The following day, I left a note for anyone who wondered where I'd gone and headed towards my old house in Edo. Hijikata-san had left long before me to meet with several of the members of the shogunate. No one had apparently visited the house in several years, and everything was covered in a thin layer of dust.
Now, where would he keep his Fury research? It must be hidden somewhere.
I brushed off the dust off a stack of documents and opened them up. Each one was covered in barely legible scribbling. It would take me forever to decipher them. No, this was nothing compared to what the rest of the Shinsengumi went through. I had to do it.
Yes.
Shoot, I guess that wasn't it either.
I sat back on the floor and sighed heavily. How foolish I'd think to think I could just waltz into my house, find my father's secret documents, and solve a problem that had haunted the Shinsengumi for years. No, I couldn't give up. I had to keep trying. Sooner or later I'd find something. Hijikata-san and Heisuke needed my help. I had to find something. Also, no mention of Senan whatsoever.
Yeah.
Huh. As I flipped open a particularly thick sheaf of papers, a scrap fell out and landed on the floor. It appeared to be some kind of formula.
Is this about the Furies?
As I studied it, I realized what I'd found. The paper described a medicine that could suppress the bloodlust of a Fury and help keep them from losing control. Medicine used to treat Fury bloodlust. Okay. The idea of Hijikata-san and Heisuke losing control was frightening, but I read on. It seemed that my father had returned to Edo just after I left for Kyoto. While he was in Edo, he mixed up the ingredients for the medicine. I looked over the instructions. The ingredients used were likely still in the warehouse. With his instructions, I should be able to mix it myself. And with my father's medicine, I could save Hijikata-san, Heisuke, and Son. There he is! I ran to the warehouse and got to work. By the time I finished, night had already fallen. I remembered what Shimada-san had told me about how many murders have been at night lately. And made sure to stick to busy streets as I made my way back to the Kama Inn. Oh! Just as I arrived, Sanan-san and Heisuke were leaving. Sanan-san!
Oh, you're back rather late. It's dangerous out there, you know. You shouldn't be out at night all by yourself.
I'm sorry. I meant to
Take a drink.
Let me finish the line at least.
No.
Fine.
I meant to come back earlier, but I was just so darn busy and kind of lost track of time.
What the fuck?
And I think I just killed her.
What?
Well, I mean,
Fuck
you
off.
were
No.
you
Fuck
were
off.
busy.
Midget!
You were a little busy drinking water there, so I had to step in with my best.
The fuck? The fuck is that shit? The hell, man? Anyway.
I'm sorry. I meant to come back earlier, but I was so busy and I just kind of lost track of time and... Anyway, I've got something for you.
I handed Sanan-san the medicine, which I'd wrapped in a small piece of paper.
What's this?
It's medicine to suppress the fiery bloodlust. I went back to my house today and found instructions on how to make it. It should make the pain go away.
Oh,
He looked down at the paper I handed him, then back to me.
thank you, but no. Your gesture is appreciated, but not needed. What?
Huh? Oh, wait, but without it, you...
You are not one of us, so to you, the bloodlust might seem odd or wrong. However, more one tries to suppress it, the greater pain it becomes. Bit by bit, it will chip away at your sanity. This medicine would be a minor reprieve, nothing more.
But...
Excuse me, but I must leave for patrol. Good night, Yukimura-kun.
Before I could protest, he was gone, walking briskly down the darkened street. Without the medicine, what would Sana-san do when the bloodlust came? Oh no. I remember what Kimikiku had said to us back at the Fushimi Magistrate's office. Then you are aware that the Shinsengumi's Furies have been murdering people on the street to test their strength? No, it couldn't be. It was the Shinsengumi's job to protect Hyo and its citizens. Surely Sanan-san wouldn't attack people on the street just to satisfy his thirst for blood.
Hey, Chizuru. I'll take that. Can I have it?
Oh, yes, of course.
I handed him the packet Sanan-san had so recently refused. He stuffed it into his pocket as he stared off down the street at Sanan-san's rapidly retreating back.
If he's going out, I'm going on patrol with him. If he does something weird, then I'll stop him. So don't worry about it, alright?
I was more transparent than I thought, it seemed.
Alright, I'm counting on you, Heisuke. Oh, right. Where's Hijikata-san? Is he back yet?
Yeah, he came back earlier this evening, but he's locked himself in his room and hasn't poked his head out since. God damn it.
What?
He hasn't come out of his room since he got back.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it, Hijikata.
Oh, I'm gonna go check on him then.
Heisuke and I said our quick goodbyes, and I made my way into the Kama Inn and up to Hijikata-san's room.
Hijikata-san, are you there? I've got something for you.
Nothing. I was about to turn away, assuming he was asleep, when...
Ah,
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached round 1. The voice was clearly in pain.
Hijikata-san, I'm coming in.
I threw the door open and ran into the room. He was bent over on top of his desk at the back of the room. Sweat poured down his face, and I could hear his teeth squeak horribly as he gritted them.
Hijikata-san, are you okay?
You idiot. Just shut up.
But...
This'll pass. Anytime now. Don't get worked up over nothing.
He wrapped his arms around his shoulders and squeezed until his knuckles turned white as he glared up at me. His breath came in pants, and he shivered as if he had a fever. It was Hijikata-san's personality to refuse to show any pain, or even any emotion at all, or at least to show as little as possible. For him to be like this, the pain must have been unimaginable. Was this the bloodlust that Heisuke had spoken of? What was I supposed to do? If he drank the medicine my father had created, then the pain would likely go away, but Sanan-san had said it would only be a temporary solution. Then, should I give him some of my blood?
Yes.
Would Hijikata-san even want me to give him my blood?
Irrelevant.
What was I going to do?
Give him the blood.
As we always said, give him blood. There was no time to waste.
There's no time for academics.
What?
There's no time for academics with this. Just give him the blood.
Oh, goddamn. It wasn't the best plan, perhaps, but I couldn't bear to see him in pain any longer. And besides, at long last, I would finally be useful. I said nothing and drew the kodachi I kept at my waist.
Hey, what the hell is this?
I slid my finger along the edge of the blade. I barely even felt it. A bead of thick blood formed over the cut.
Please, drink my blood. It'll make you feel better, right?
Hell, I can't do that.
His clothes were drenched in sweat, and he shook like a leaf in the wind. I couldn't back down. This was my chance to do something for him, to make a difference. But perhaps most importantly, I just couldn't watch him suffer anymore.
Don't worry about me. Please.
Though he tried desperately not to, his eyes were drawn to my finger, to the thick red blood that slowly beaded and dropped. His teeth ground, and his hands flexed, but he couldn't resist. It was only moments before he gave in.
You're an idiot. A girl should have cut herself up. No man is gonna want to marry a girl covered in scars.
Well, it's a good thing I can heal. Then
What?
He took my hand and licked the blood from my finger. I felt a soft caress. Brain! You know this word.
Dude.
I felt the soft caress of his tongue as it ran the length of the cut, and then the soft pressure of his teeth and lips as he sucked gently, drawing a few more drops out and into his mouth.
I'll be fine. I'm a demon. I heal really fast.
Doesn't matter. Demon or not, you're still a girl.
His breathing had already begun to calm itself, though through his hand on my wrist, I could feel his shaking subsiding as well. At last, I thought, I was able to be useful. A few moments later, his hand slipped from my wrist. The cut on my finger had already healed.
I'm sorry for being so, forward.
No.
He took a quiet breath and shook his head.
This isn't the time to be pretending that I'm fine. I know that. If I wanted to make sure Kondo wins, then I don't have a choice. I have to become a monster.
Absently, I touched my fingers to the wrist Hijikata-san had taken when he drank my blood. I almost thought I could still feel his warmth there.
Damn it. Oh, okay.
What?
Oh, I'm informing somebody about something.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah.
Anyways,
It's 2:30. 2 hours and 30 minutes.
yeah.
Do we?
Do we end it?
Did we end it? I mean, we did complete a whole fucking chapter.
Yes.
I'm saving. Most important thing, save. How do you feel?
Oh no, the wheel will tell me in a minute.
Oh no, you have the wheel!
Yes.
Oh no, alright. The wheel is going to tell us our destiny.
The wheel is God. The wheel is life.
All hail the holy wheel. The wheel shall tell us, do we go on or do we stop?
Let's see. Potentially one more time? Or it could be potentially two.
Eh?
Well, the wheel says continue.
Oh my god.
It kind of won it in a landslide, 3-1.
Holy shit. Okay, wait. I'm looking at the next choice and I'm like, where is that? Where is that? I don't know where that is. Even after the events of that night, Hijikata-san pushed himself just as hard as before and visited the shogunate officials whenever he could find the time. So we're going on for 30 more minutes. Okay. Eventually, his work began to pay off, and the Shinsengumi were given one of the Hatamoto mansions to use as their headquarters. The Shinsengumi headquarters in Edo was located beyond the Kajibashi Gate, in the mansion of former Executive Lieutenant Minister Tanetatsu Akizuki. I knew he had to be in miserable condition between his demanding schedule and fury-related difficulties, but he was determined to give Kondo-san his war. That thought alone seemed to sustain him and drive him forward. Perhaps the gods took pity on him.
My apologies for worrying you.
It was some time later that Kondo-san finally made an appearance, seemingly completely healed.
I never thought being kept away from the fighting for so long would be this frustrating. Had our foes forced their way in, I was prepared to fight them no matter my condition. But I suppose that's besides the point now. I'm sure you're all wondering what's next. First, we'll head for Kofu. We've been ordered to ambush the Imperial Army. The Shogunate's given us 2 cannons, a number of small arms, and most importantly, funding!
As he began to lay out the details of the plan, I saw his eyes twinkle with excitement. In anticipation of their success on this mission, Kondo-san and Hijikata-san had both been given promotions. Nagakura-san and Harada-san, however, seemed less than pleased with this turn of events.
Hey, Kondo-san, what's the idea with us having? Who came up with the idea of having us guard Kofu? That was Awano Kamikatsu. Why, is that a problem?
Awano Kamikatsu, a key figure in the Tokugawa shogunate's last days. He was commander of the army and later of the entire military. Hello?
Oh, hey, no, this is PK Warfare.
Ah.
Hi.
Boop.
Oh, I've heard a lot of rumors about this Katsu guy, and it's not good stuff. He's famous for being a pacifist. Why would somebody like that give us cannons and money to go to war?
Nagakura has a point.
He does.
Whoa! Oh, that's new. I haven't heard that effect yet, but I'm so glad I set it up. It's
Oh,
a Pikachu!
Pika.
Pika.
Hey,
Pika.
why would somebody like that give us cannons and money to go to war? Besides, I've heard that the Shogun himself is, perfectly willing to go along with whatever the new government army wants. You don't think Katsu feels the same way?
Also, thank you. I forgot to say that. Kondo-san frowned.
Nagakura, Harada, those are direct orders from the shogunate. It's true, given that the shogun isn't publicly defying the new government army, but that's because his situation isn't ideal. However, if we can protect Kofu, then perhaps he'll think that the shogunate actually has a chance to win this war. And then he'll put his full resources behind it.
Kofu Castle. The castle that defended Edo along Tosanado, the Eastern Mountain Road. Okay.
This isn't a matter of just winning or losing. The men in charge are recognizing our hard work by saying that we are a force skilled and dedicated enough to defend Kofu. Isn't our duties as warriors then to give all we can to this fight? Don't you agree, Nagakura? You're really gonna try and gloss over like that? I mean, I'm a captain of the Shinsengumi, but I'm not your retainer.
Kondo-san looked upset, but Harada-san spoke up before he could say anything.
Hey, Saito, what's your take on all of this? I will do whatever the chief and the commander order me to.
All eyes turned to Hijikata-san.
Well, we should round up some more men if we're gonna go to war with the Imperial Army. If we do good at Kofu, then I'm sure the Shogunate will send us some reinforcements. As far as Awano Kami goes, doesn't matter how much he hates war. I'm sure he knows that sometimes you can't avoid it. I mean, if the Shogunate loses, then him and all the rest of the vassals are out of a job. I don't think they want us to lose. Yeah, I guess you got a point. Shall we head for the mountain near Kofu first and prepare for night raids? Fury Corps isn't going this time. You're staying here. Why? If the Shogunate does send us reinforcements, I can't afford to let them see you. Besides, there are gonna be a lot more men at Kofu. You'll get spotted. And then what's the point of having a secret division? Hey, the war just started. We shouldn't be in such a rush, San.
I saw Hijikata-san and Heisuke exchange a quick look. They must have realized how Sanan-san would react and talked it over beforehand.
Oh, you slick boys. Alright then, everyone. Return to your rooms. We have some time before we leave, so make sure you get your affairs in order.
That was that, and the captains departed to go brief their subordinates. Only Hijikata-san remained behind to begin sifting through the massive stacks of papers and maps.
Hijikata-san, are you sure it'll be okay?
What will be okay?
This war is going to be difficult, isn't it? Wouldn't it have been better to take the Fury Corps along?
No. That. No.
He sighed and set down the map he'd been studying.
Remember when Sen warned us about Furies killing people?
Yes.
Well, I think it might have been Sanan-san.
What?
The Fury Corps is our trump card, but I can't have them murdering people in the streets to satisfy their bloodlust. During Toba Fushimi, they used silver bullets on the Fury Corps, which essentially made them useless.
Silver, a precious metal, it somehow counteracts the healing powers of the Furies.
Until we can figure out how to counteract the silver problem, I need to have Sanan-san stay here. Heisuke will keep an eye on him. We also might need them to go collect arms for a counterattack.
A counterattack?
Yeah.
Then he was even planning for a possible loss of Kofu?
This next fight is going to be a big one. We probably shouldn't take you, but if I leave you here, then Cosmo might try to snatch you again. Leaving you in the company of the Furies is also a bad idea. So, I'm taking you with us, but you watch yourself and you stay out of trouble. I tell you to jump, you say how high. Got it?
Okay.
I could feel a nervous knot forming in my stomach, but Ichikata-san had to have a far greater case of nerves than I did. It's daytime. It was morning on the day we left for Kofu.
Everyone's up already.
Huh? The common room was full of men dressed in clothing I'd never seen before.
Western outfits! Oh, hey, Chizuru-chan. You're up pretty early.
Okay. Hold on.
Huh? Your clothes. Are you really Nagakura-san? What are you wearing?
Oh, you like it?
Okay,
I think it's cool.
I don't know which one I like more, this one or the remakes.
Well, this one's got green on it, so...
So does the other one. The other one's kind of like inverse.
Yeah, this one's olive drab green.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go find it in the folder.
Sorry, folks. Slight detour.
Just light. Okay, where's the Nagakura folder?
I'm over here.
Do I have it? There we go. Hold on. That's in the remix.
I actually kind of like the remake a little bit better.
You know what?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I do kind of like the remix a little bit better. Alright.
Oh yeah, check out those guns in the remake. Oh yeah.
That's from his route.
Yep.
And it's like...
Why would we have need for those kind of guns when you got these kind of guns? Oh yeah. I am a specimen of nature. Mwah.
Hi. In my fiction of Hakuoki Altar, Nagakura does that all the time to Haruka to get her to laugh.
I see. Well, I might be part himbo then.
Why?
Anyways,
No, why?
I don't know. Just the fact that I end up doing that, you're like, oh, he does that all the time to Hanukkah to try and get her to laugh. I'm like, well, looks like I'm part himbo. The commander ordered us to dress in Western clothing when going into battle from now on.
Saito,
Yeah. Hi.
did Saitos change at all?
I don't know, but I hate it.
What?
I don't like my outfit. I like the old one.
You don't like your outfit?
No,
Why?
it's this one is just super confided. Like it, I feel so confided.
Oh my god.
Like I don't have freedom of movement in it.
He's stuck.
I know.
He's stucky.
I don't like it. Acting like a teenager. Our enemies will be wearing some Western clothing, so it seems like we'd better too if we want to win.
This is not. It's not that bad of a color scheme. Kind of, sort of wish it didn't keep the kimono pattern on the blue.
Why?
It's kind of much.
I like my kimono. Don't you?
Really?
Ichikata-san was dressed predominantly in black. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it! And whatever his outfit was called, it gave him an elegant look. It suited him well. He looked as handsome as an actor, and I couldn't help but admire him for a moment. We're always going to bring up the fact that he's as handsome as an actor. Because Hijikata, the actual one, was given this compliment like 150 times in real life. Okay, more like 100,000, but we're not counting.
Semantics. Let's keep going. Something wrong? Am I wearing it wrong?
Oh god.
Huh? Oh, no. No, definitely not.
You're strange.
I'm strange!
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, you know what? The boss has got it right. You are strange, Chizuru-chan.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait, Kondo-san's not wearing Western clothes.
They're just so tight. And I can't stand walking in these, I think they're called shoes? Besides, I wouldn't feel like a real warrior in those things. I guess I'm being a little childish about it, but that's my right.
Oh my god, Kondo-san.
You're fine. It's not like you'll be out on the front lines. You just have to act dignified for the troops. Your presence alone is enough to inspire the men. Really? Toshi, you're gonna make me blush.
He already is.
No, I'm not. That's just, I put makeup on me, that's all.
The fuck was that vision?
Well, then let's be off to Kofu Castle.
And thus the Shinsengumi took on the name Koyo Regulatory Company and headed to Kofu by way of Hachioji. Koyo Regulatory Company. The name given to the Shinsengumi by the shogunate when they were ordered to quell the uprisings in the Koshu, also known as Kyoyo, region. A part of Hachioji, a part of the Bushutama region of Edo. This is where Kondo-san and Hijikata-san are from. Yay. On the way, Kondo-san split up from the main group to visit his hometown. Which brings up problems.
Kondo-san hasn't caught up yet? How far is he gonna sit in that inn getting drunk? Well, he probably hasn't been home in a while. Probably wants to show off how successful he's been.
Haruna in white.
Haha.
I don't know how I feel about this outfit. I think I like the remake better.
Not to mention, I'm sure he wants to visit his wife and daughter. He hasn't seen them for a long time. Show off, huh? We're watching the war. You really think this is the time for that shit?
Ichikata-san looked back over his shoulder at Nagakura-san and Harada-san.
He's meeting with some possible recruits. What better way to get to know the new soldiers than by sharing a drink with them? Hmm? Oh yeah, you got a point, but...
Hijikata-san's eyes narrowed.
If we'd gotten enough recruits before we left, Kondo wouldn't be out here now.
Hijikata-san's words cut like a knife. The Shinsengumi had made a name for themselves in Kyo. True, but the shogunate was faced with a numerically superior force. We no longer had the luxury of conducting interviews with potential candidates and only taking the best. Now we had to offer money and alcohol to attract recruits. Ichikata-san would rather cut off his own arm than stoop that low, but he had no choice.
Commander, there's something I need to tell you. It begins.
Sent on ahead the scout some time before, Saito-san had finally returned.
What is it?
Saito-san took a short breath and seemed for a moment to be gathering information for something unpleasant.
It seems that the enemy has already conquered Kofu Castle. What?
Ichikata-san gestured quickly to some of the soldiers behind him.
We gotta get an urgent update on the situation. Go get the chief, now! Sir, yes, sir!
It was some time before Kondo-san received the message and returned to the main body of soldiers. That was long enough for news of the castle's fall to spread through the men, and many of them panicked. Nearly 300 of the men we'd left Edo with deserted, reducing our forces to a mere 100 soldiers.
God damn.
Nagakura-san and Harada-san advised retreat, but Kondo-san decided that we would form up for battle and fight until the bitter end. Now that we had accepted weapons and money from the shogunate, he said there could be no retreat.
I'll call in our reinforcements from Edo. We cannot afford to lose this one. Tell the men that reinforcements will be arriving soon. We can't afford to have any more deserters. As you wish.
Saito-san nodded, then turned and jogged off towards the rest of the soldiers. Alas, Hijikata-san turned to look at me.
Go back to Edo. This place is going to turn into a battlefield really soon. You should be somewhere where you can be safe. Yeah.
I decided to
Stay behind.
stay behind.
I'll stay here. I can't run away to somewhere safe while everyone else is off fighting. I'll stay here to protect Kondo-san until you get back.
Ichikata-san frowned.
Ow. You can barely swing a sword to save your life, and I don't think you got the stones to kill a man. You are not a soldier.
That was about what I'd expected him to say, but I wasn't going to back down so easily.
It's true that I'm not much good with a sword, but I can still be his shield. Any small wounds will heal quickly enough.
Why are you doing this? No one asked you to.
I know I'm probably out of line. But I also know that we can't lose Kondo-san. Not now. I'm sick and tired of always being protected. I want to help. Please.
I'd been with them long enough to know just how much Kondo-san meant to Hijikata-san. To all of the Shinsengumi. If I went back to Edo and Kondo-san died... No. I refuse to be the only person to escape unscathed. Hijikata-san chewed his lip thoughtfully for a moment, his hard eyes never leaving my face. At last, he sighed and spoke.
If you're really that serious about this, then I've got an order for you. As a member of the Shinsengumi.
What?
My eyebrows shut up. I'd been with the Shinsengumi for a long time, but never before had he actually referred to me as one of them, let alone giving me any sort of orders.
I'm assigning you to Kondo as his personal guard. You will remain at his side and provide him with whatever assistance he might need. And?
Yes, sir.
I straightened up and nodded vigorously.
I, Chizuru Yukimura, will protect my chief, even if it means my life.
Hijikata-san cut me off with a sharp look.
There is one condition to this. You cannot die.
What?
That wasn't the sort of thing I expected to hear from a man like Hijikata-san.
And don't do anything stupid, like being a shield or whatever that bullshit was you were saying. I am not ordering you to die.
He gave me one last pointed look and then turned to look towards Kofu Castle.
If our enemy this time turns out to be a bunch of amateurs who are just hoping to kiss some ass with the Imperial Army, then we might have a chance.
Imperial Army, the army of the Imperial Estate, and by extension the Emperor. It was used to refer to armed forces loyal to the Meiji government.
If it turns out they're more like the Satsuma or the Choshu, though, then we're screwed. I'll try and get back as fast as I can, but if something happens before I do, I'm counting on you and Saito-san to make sure Kondo-san gets away clean. And none of this shield crap! You escape with him. You die, and I'll make sure that you regret it. Understood?
I felt a cold sweat break out on my back as Hijikata-san's words sunk in.
Alright, who's not dead? Sound off!
I'd seen others fight for their lives in battle many times, but this would be the first time I actually joined the battle myself. Would I really be able to protect Kondo-san? Would it even be possible to evade our enemies and escape? Perhaps Hijikata-san noticed my sudden fear, because he gave a short, bitter laugh.
Hey, take out your sword.
Huh?
Yawn!
I fumbled with it for a moment, surprised at the strangeness of his request, and finally pulled my sword from its scabbard. Hijikata-san pulled out his sword as well, in a sure, smooth motion. Then he took his Izumi no Kami Kanesada and tapped its blade against my own. The clear tone they made drew goosebumps from my arms.
Do it! Yes! Yes!
I noticed how very green this scene is.
That's called Kinish.
What?
Kinchio.
Kincho.
Kincho. It's what samurai do when they swear an oath.
Kincho, the act of hitting one's sword or scabbard with another's to indicate both parties swearing to an oath.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Well, I guess technically neither of us is an actual samurai, so we're just going through the motions, I suppose.
Why?
He grinned.
Proof. I'll come back, and you'll survive too. That's the oath we just made. So you trust me, and you wait. And don't die.
His words were confident, and listening to him, I felt as if they'd somehow made me stronger, more capable. As someone who dreamt of being a true samurai, then that oath meant a great deal to him. I had to follow through. There could be no breaking this promise.
I understand. I will protect Kondo-san and I will survive.
He had given me a chance to show that I was useful and trusted me with an important task.
Good. Now say it again because I can't hear you.
I would complete that task no matter what.
Coming ad break in 1 minute.
Good.
We're almost done anyway.
Slowly, the Kyoyo Regulatory Company found itself driven into a corner. Kondo-san did his best to try and explain to them that he and his men were only there to protect the area around Kofu Castle in hopes that this situation might resolve without bloodshed. Unfortunately, one of the new recruits cried out that they were the Shinsengumi and opened fire on the castle's defenders. You idiot!
God damn it!
Who was that soldier?
I would like to know. I just want to talk to him. 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 I just want to shoot him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
That was the spark that lit the powder keg.
Boom.
The bulk of our opponent's forces turned out to be men from the Tosa domain who had been trained in Western tactics and weapons. Oh boy, Tosa! Our guns were old and didn't have the range to match the Tosas. It quickly became a hopeless battle. Kondo-san had no choice but to retreat.
We have to go, Kondo-san. If we don't go now, you'll be killed.
What good? But my men are still out there, fighting. We can't run away and leave them.
If you stay, then you'll just die too.
Good.
Even if we lose...
Damn it.
Even if we lose this battle, Hijikata-san says that as long as you're safe, there's still hope. We can regroup and fight back later.
I grabbed Kono-san's hand and pulled him as hard as I could towards the road down the mountain.
A yawn escaped me.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
He looked across the battlefield at his own men, hopelessly outnumbered, many already fallen. I saw tears well up at the corner of his eyes. He bowed deeply towards the men still engaged in battle just as Saito-san returned from the front line.
Are you prepared for the retreat? Good. Let's go.
Right. Come on, Kondo-san. We have to go.
No. Okay. Right.
Whoosh. Shall we leave it here?
Yeah. This seems like a good spot.
Save button.
And then back to the title screen.
Woo!
Hey!
We're done.
If we're done for the night, folks.
The ad hasn't broken yet.
30 seconds.
Yes.
So, let's see. Do you want to go Game Grotto or Yukina?
You pick.
They're both doing the same thing. You know what? Yukina, because she's got less people watching.
Give.
Okay, hang on.
Wow.
Boom.
Wow.
Okay. Sasnick.
That is a snack.
Oh my god, a snack. Hold on. I gotta...
It is a danger noodle.
It is a danger noodle. Okay. Hold on. Anyway, the break has ended. We are going to,
Go raid.
Yes, we are. So, tomorrow afternoon, we're starting with, Hi-Fi Rush.
2 p.m. EST, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, we're coming back with more of this.
Yeah. Maybe finishing up Hijikata's route. I don't know.
Let's see. We're gonna finish up chapter 5, then go to 6, 7, 8, 9.
Before you do that and everything, opening sequence.
Oh yeah, hi opening sequence. I'm gonna there. Yeah, there's
Go.
some chapters left. Where's my thing? Alright, 10 seconds, we're gonna raid.
Please drink water.
Have a good day or night.
Try not to die because you didn't drink water, and
That was early.
that was early. Let's go raiding, folks.
Whee! Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.